So the Pumpfun ICO has been completed. They completed it in a couple minutes. And if you was live streaming with me yesterday, you would know that it was absolutely insane. We had almost 1,000 viewers live. We made some amazing trades, and we also long Pumpfun release. Now, a lot of people ask me, they were saying, Tyrell, I thought you was bearish on the Pumpfun release. Yes, I'm bearish on the token release, right? Because at the end of the day, when the token drops, that's where the real action happens. Now, if you can see right here, I've actually took the liberty of taking a short. Now, I'll be increasing this short, like 10x the amount of size. Right now, I've taken that short, and it turns out to be quite all right. Like, scalping this chart is not bad at all. And I'm not going to turn my nose up at like a couple $100 because I used to work all day for that amount of money as well. So if you want to take this trade, you can check out the link in the description, and you can join Blowfin. And this is the best place to trade, in my opinion, as a place where you can trade the Pumpfun launch right now, pre-token release. Now, if you remember, token releases tend to be a sell the news event, right? So we brought the hype, and now we're selling the news. So we're playing this pretty much okay in terms of the token release. Now, this is ahead of some preconceived FUD that I've actually found out on my Twitter feed. Twitter being the best place to find anything for news. By the way, if you don't follow me, my name is the Crypto King on there as well. Now you can see people are actually saying that the Pumpfun airdrop is only $10 million. Now $10 million sounds like a lot, but when you put that into the perspective of they've already raised 400 million and they've already made almost $1 billion, $10 million is a drop in the bucket. So that's like, you know, giving back. In fact, in terms of percentages, I give back more in terms of Solana than these guys have given back in terms of an airdrop for their entire company. People have probably done about $10 million. In fact, there's some wallets that have done $10 million of volume on there as well, right? It's insane, absolutely insane. And that equates to about $100 to $2,000 of Pumpfun tokens. Now, this is all alleged. It's not 100% fact. These are just rumors that are going around. Now, if this happens, it's extremely bearish. And I do think that people in general are just going to be hard to please. You're not going to be able to please many people right now when it comes to the Pumpfun airdrop, right? The reason being is because if you've done $10 million of volume, you get given $2,000. That is terrible in terms of payouts, and people aren't going to be happy for that. Now you can also see in terms of market share right now, Pumpfun is leading #1 at 47% and is equated to $495 million of volume, with about 85 projects bonded in the last 24 hours. Now, funnily enough, even though they are leading in terms of volume, Let's Bonk projects are actually bonding more. So Pumpfun projects are actually bonding more than Pumpfun projects, which actually puts things into perspective what the best places to be trading right now. Personally, I'm still trading Pumpfun because the narratives right now are mainly Chinese narratives on Bonk, and it's just a bunch of people copy trading Cupsy because they don't actually know what to buy. So it becomes very PvP, and I personally want to have projects that are sub 20, 30k market caps tops, right? Because that allows me to get the best risk to reward if I'm trenching all day, to get around variance. Now, if you're buying projects on Let's Bonk and Cupsy buys it, it's already at 30k and he's in at 5k. So it makes things very, very hard to trade. But if you're getting in at 30k, for you to make a 10x, it needs to go to 300, 600k, a million, to make any type of decent gains. Where if you're in sub 20, 30k and it's a slow grind to bond in, you're making 5, 10x just like that anyway, right? So I really do prefer that unless it's a very good narrative. Now, if this is something which is a very, very good narrative, then I don't mind bidding it. At the end of the day, that's just how the market is, and that's where I found the most profit. You guys can see in the past 2 days, right, when I've been trading this Asian narrative, I've lost like 80 soul, right? Just by trying to play this Chinese narrative and buying things above 40k. But you guys see, when we do the other strategy, we can do 80 soul to over 100 soul a day in profit. So it's very, very interesting how those strategies are playing out. Now, below that, we actually have something interesting where not a lot of people are talking about, and that is actually Believe. Now, Believe, I always say when people are looking in that direction, I want to look in this direction and spot new opportunities. Now, you can actually see clearly that launch coin is up 20% on the day, KLED is up 12%, and KNet is actually still up a little bit as well. Now, KNet being my best bag right now, I do think KNet's going to do the best, and it's absolutely bombed out. So if you're somebody that doesn't want a PvP trade, but you still understand that meme coins had the best risk to reward, KNet is probably a good bet for you, and it can do very, very well. If you also look at Startup as well, Startup's now at 32 million. This thing was literally at 2 million or 5 million down here as well. So Startup is also putting in a good flag and looks to probably go higher as well. Those being my two biggest bets right now, probably KNet and Startup. Now, the dark horse in this scenario of someone that I do think is going to be climbing up the ladder is Jupiter Studio. Now, Jupiter Studio, in my opinion, is the equivalent of Base Chain, for example, back in the day, right? If we're looking at a Base Chain back in the day, you remember Base Chain had the craziest risk to reward ratio. Now, if you look over here, you can see a lot of these projects are starting to stand out. It's starting to become very clear which projects are going to become successful and which projects ain't. In my opinion, a dark horse right now is this Jennifer token. It's currently 11 hours old and it's sitting at about 64k market cap. This is absolutely tiny in my opinion, and I do think it can go very, very far because the newer, fresher tokens tend to be more volatile towards the upside because they have no ceiling compared to a older token as well. Now, if you're looking at older tokens, I would say older tokens being Uranus, okay, Priceless as well, and Cat Debts as well. Okay, so those being the main tokens that I would mainly look for. Okay, Jennifer being the main one, and we have Priceless and Cat Debts as well. Those being my main bags. When we have a look at the overall market and we have a look at Bitcoin, you guys that have been following me for a while would know that we are keeping a very, very close eye on the Bitcoin price because we are about to face this massive, massive resistance for the long-term price of Bitcoin. You can actually see we've been rejecting this price of Bitcoin right here as well. In fact, if you look at the uptrend right here, 118k, we're facing massive resistance right here at this specific level. Now, this should be a warning sign for you. I mentioned earlier that, yeah, I appreciate having tons and tons of streamer viewers, but I always say to my guys, my loyal guys that follow my stream day in, day out, I say to you guys, whenever you see the floodgates open and hundreds, sometimes even thousands of people come on stream, you know that that is a warning sign because that might be the top. Chat, if you agree with me, let me know. But I generally think that when loads of people start coming into the market, it starts to get a little bit toppish, and then we tend to see a big leverage wipeout. That could even be to the upside. It could even be to the downside. Now, I personally do think it's going to be to the downside, right? We was bullish this whole way up. I made tons of videos speaking about this July period and this sideways period, right? How every time we go sideways up in a bull market, for example, bear market, this being a bear market, sideways down, bull market, sideways up, yeah, sideways up, sideways up, right? Now we're right here, right? We're now think in a continuation to the upside. I don't think it's over yet, but I do think we come down a little bit and then we probably go back up to the upside. And this is where it gets very, very interesting because we put such a big move on the breakout towards the upside. This is where it gets like the most interesting because people are going to put in shorts maybe to look for a retest of 107. If we go down, everyone's going to be calling 107. And even if we come back just a little bit, people are going to be loading up crazy shorts. And then if we go up again, it's another liquidation cascade. So we're in a beautiful place for high volatility right now. But in my opinion, leverage is something which is now going to be very, very risky. You need to be careful. You need to make sure you're in the right communities. So to make sure that you're in the right communities, I recommend taking a look at the trenches. You guys can see inside of the trenches right now, we have been absolutely cooking when it comes to leverage trading. You can see right here, I'm posting pump longs, got shorts on banana, somebody's up 800%, 600%, 120, 30, 50, etc., etc. List goes on. Now, it's important to remember that that doesn't mean that's guaranteed for you, but being a part of a community is going to help you keep your eyes open in this market because right now, when shit gets volatile, you're going to get peak. And in my opinion, as you can also see right here, we also have red dots about to form on market cipher. We're also topping out on the RSI. You can see we have a possible bearish divergence as well as price goes up. Okay, so we have a lot of forms looking for the downside. That means I think a lot of people are going to rotate back to the trenches, and I do think a lot of people are going to come back onto Pumpfun. Okay, you can already see actually Jennifer right now. I'm already off 3 sol on Jennifer. We're currently at 62k. Now, with that being said, what other things do I have on my watch list? One thing I like to do, especially in the trenches, when we look at market updates, is I like to use multi-chart. Now with multi-chart, we can have a look at multiple different charts and we can see tons of different ecosystems. Now, if we have a look at the bonk ecosystem right now, it's done nothing but be absolutely flying. I do think bonk ecosystem is due a reset. I think a lot of tokens over here are overheated. Okay, I do think a lot of them are going to start to come back down and pull back, especially as we're so close to the Pumpfun launch. You can also see on the Ton blockchain as well. Ton blockchain still being very, very quiet. I simply think the only reason why the Ton blockchain is stupidly quiet right now because they have done nothing to support meme coins. It's got nothing to do with anything else apart from the fact that they do not support meme coins and other platforms do. Tom Solport, he's shilling his bags every single day. Even the founders of Solana, they're shilling their bags every single day, but Ton are yet to do anything for meme coins. That's the reason why Redo is at what, 600k, T-Cat's 400k or 200k right now, and Dogs is basically at zero. Their famous airdrop token where they lied and said that airdrops to the future with millions of users has done nothing but go down to absolutely zero. Okay, if we look at Candle ecosystem, Candle is doing extremely well as a sleeping giant. It is going up towards the upside and it is performing very, very well. I currently don't hold any Candle at the moment, but I do wish them well on their ventures. I do hopefully want to see this at all-time high, and a big shout out to everybody still in Candle. Candlezilla is also bottoming out right here. It does look like people have rotated from Candle to Derpy. If you haven't seen Derpy, it's probably a possible community to look to join because Derpy is performing extremely well right now. It's currently at 300k market cap as well, and it is holding extremely strong. So if you look at the difference here, it looks like a lot of people have rotated from Candlezilla to Derpy, and that's just the market. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay, Bonk ecosystem we've already discussed. Believe ecosystem, as I mentioned as well earlier, when we look at Believe and we compare the charts, you've got Launch Coin breaking out right here. KNet looks like it's about to curl up and break out right here. K-led in accumulation, startup looking strong. That's why I would always say startup and KNet probably my two biggest bets right here. And then Launch Coin is finally starting to put in a reversal as well. That's your altcoin season. When people talk about altcoin season, that's what I'm looking at. And then a sleeping giant is Gore. So if you guys have not been up to date with Gore, you'll know that it's a fork of Solana, and it's been completely low key. When we look at tokens that tend to run up to hundreds of millions, they have this big accumulation and then they blast off and go extremely high. Remember, this thing is still sat at 18 million. Still at 18 million. That's extremely high for an accumulation range. And it means that people are still working for their bags. Hope has not been lost. Probably going to do extremely well. As soon as it starts breaking out, I'm looking at Oscar as a possible recovery, because Oscar's the only one which isn't absolute zeros. Okay, so like 190k market cap. So with that being said, that's my market update. To summarize for you guys, I think that BTC is going to have a slight pullback. Okay, I think that Pumpfun's also going down. I'm already short on Pumpfun right now, just for a couple $100. And I do think that the best bets now is going to be start looking at the meme coin ecosystem as well and start to get involved in the trenches. I live stream every single day. I'm probably live streaming right now, so go ahead and check it out. And as always, guys, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys inside the trenches. I wish you best of luck.